This budget mechanical keyboard has everything: an aluminum body, it's hot swappable, has RGB, it's gasket mounted, and sounds like this. The hobby of mechanical keyboards is an amazing time because it's like an iceberg. You can only see so much up top, but eventually you want to see it all. So with this many features, what does a keyboard like this cost? What are we giving up? All of these things will be answered in this video. This is David with Side of Tech, your casual nerd. Let's go ahead and check it out.
Without a plan to treat me or please, I know what you needed. Let's not discuss it. Quiet with all of that fussing. Nothing is good turned out to be easy. So give me the reason.
This is the AL66 keyboard from YUNZII. It goes for $95 for the bare bone kit and $105 for the switches and caps on their website. But I highly recommend that you take a look at their products on Amazon, since the full kitted version goes for $99.99, and that's with Prime shipping and returns. I'll be sure to leave a link below so you can check it out. It comes in silver, pink, blue, and the color I have here, black. Personally, I love the black look with the warm color scheme. It's one of my favorite aesthetics. And as far as the shipping goes, I got mine directly from YUNZII, so this took about a week. That included a pass-through customs, so it might take a little bit longer depending where you're from. But again, take a look at Amazon, it's much more easier. Next, let's go ahead and cover what comes in the box. First, we're introduced to the keyboard with a plastic cover, a quick start guide, a connection cable, a keycap and switch puller, and some extra keycaps for the Mac and PC. The keyboard doesn't come with much, but it does give you everything you need to get going right outside the box. Next, let's talk about the keyboard's features. We have an aluminum body with a 65% layout, which basically means you're missing out on the top row and the numpad. It has 66 keys and one functional knob. Unfortunately, the knob can only control your RGB and a couple of multimedia settings. It's fine since most people would want to control the multimedia settings with this knob, but it would be cool if we can customize it. The body itself is solid, but not as heavy as other keyboards like the Keychron Q2. I feel like other companies do use higher quality aluminum, but again, this thing won't snap in your fingers. It'll survive your gamer rage. Let's do a quick typing test and show you how this thing sounds right outside the box. As you can tell from the typing test, we have a nice creamy sound with this keyboard. It's not too thocky, but more smooth. If you choose this option with the switches and keycaps, which I do highly recommend since it's only a $10 upgrade, the keycaps you get are die-sub PBT, so not the best quality, but still feels nice when typing with them. Being in this hobby though, you'll be rocking new keycaps before you know it. The switches are their milk linear switches. Not too much key travel, and I'd say they're more on the sensitive side. Personally, I love this when I was gaming. The switches felt really responsive, and when switching over to productivity, it was even better. Again, not bad for a $10 upgrade. Another surprising feature that's included is the gasket mount. It's not the most spongiest gasket mount, but hey, at least it's there. As you can see in the close-ups, our gasket mount are a few soft rubber contacts that separate the top plate from the bottom, so decent stuff. We have a polycarb plate with a couple of pieces of foam and some clear plastic. And on the bottom of the plate, we have a couple of layers of custom foam. The PCB itself has south-facing LEDs, which is a feature that's mostly included in premium keyboards. Along with the support for 5-pin switches, we have a high amount of compatibility with this keyboard, so that makes this board really beginner friendly. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite part, RGB. And I'd say personally, this is this keyboard's standout feature. Look, even if you don't like keyboards with RGB, I totally get it. I usually keep mine off if a keyboard comes with some, and thankfully with this one you can too. But damn, the AL66 just goes all out. You have all the standard stuff up top by default, and you can control most of it using the knob. Pressing inwards gives you different profiles, and moving the knob left and right controls the brightness. My favorite has to be the sides of the keyboard. It stands out so much here. Thankfully, the guide that comes with the keyboard will tell you how to control most of the RGB. Also, YUNZII provides their own software where you can control the RGB, but sadly it's only for the PC and not the Mac. The good thing is, if you have a Mac and PC, you can program the keyboard on the PC and take it over to the Mac. But it's safe to say, if you love RGB on your keyboards, this one won't let you down. Next, we'll talk about the multitude of connectivity options we have with this board. My favorite thing to do is connect from PC to Mac and vice versa. This board never has to leave my desk while I switch from one to another. We have the option of Bluetooth that has 3 connections, a line in, which I have hooked up to my Mac, and then a wireless receiver which is hooked up to my PC. It's so easy to flip the switch between gaming and productivity. I feel like so many other companies just skimp out on these easy to include features that gives us options. And when you do have a product that gives this to you, I believe it's important to identify it. And then there's the battery life, which is about 90 hours with a 4600 milliamp hour battery. The thing is, I never got to utilize this battery life since I had the line-in connection to my Mac, but it's a good thing to know if I wanted to switch over to a wireless workflow that I do have this option and exceptionally good battery life. In total, you can hook up this keyboard up to 6 devices, which is just insane. The flexibility of this keyboard is not to be understated, but I'll tell you what won't be understated are the dislikes that I have with this keyboard. I dislike that the knob is programmed out of the box to control just the lighting and multimedia. It really limits what we can control with this knob. This also brings me to the software, because this is where most of my problems came from. The things that you can control with this app are severely limited. You also have a lot of grammatical errors and spelling errors. It's just something that takes you out of the user experience. The good thing about software is that it can always be updated, so I hope that YUNZII can take all these into consideration and improve their software. And lastly, this is more of a nitpick, but if you were to have the RGB on the sides and off at the top, you can still see the RGB peeking through. Not a deal breaker at all, but something that annoys me a little bit when working in the dark. These problems are nothing when compared to the value that this keyboard has. I think I'm ready to talk about my final verdict. So my overall ratings are buy at full price, try it out, wait for a sale, or completely pass. My final verdict on this keyboard is I recommend you buy this at full price. The price to value, I don't think anyone's gonna complain about this. This keyboard comes with so many features that a lot of people want, and around $100, I think this is a no-brainer. And as far as my recommendation goes on who to buy this keyboard, I'm gonna 100% recommend this to people who are just getting into the hobby. Someone who's a complete beginner or someone who just bought a plastic build, I think this is a good stepping stone onto that upper level. There is no need to spend over $200 anymore to get a custom keyboard that has all the features. YUNZII is just one of the many companies out there now who are just putting out a great product at a great value. Someone like myself who isn't necessarily a beginner but not exactly an expert, I know we kind of long for a more luxurious type of keyboard experience, and I would honestly say just save your money to buy something a little bit more luxurious and fancier. At that point, I'd rather just invest in a nicer board. But that's just my opinion. What did you guys think about this review? Go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. Watch this next video on the Keychron Q2. It's a keyboard that's a little bit more fancier than the AL66. But again, thank you for watching today's video. This is David serving you a little side of tech, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless you guys.